world, my name is Nicholas Montes and you're watching my YouTube channel, The Teenage Movie Critic. And welcome back to another YouTube channel video. I'm so excited to have y'all back here again. And in today's video, we're going to be doing another Celebration of Cinema review. That's right. Fun fact, I was making my calendar for this list as to what movies am I going to review that I've seen before. Because the whole thing about this series is to celebrate movies. But it's also to celebrate movies that I've already seen in the past before, but I've never actually done a review of them. So I'm like, why not review them since it's anniversary, you know? It's a celebration of cinema. And since I loved Annie, I was looking at my calendar and I actually had two films, which was Annie and then Shrek Forever After. Yes, I think that movie is great. I love that movie. So next year, May 21st, 2024, that'll be that Celebration Cinema review with Shrek Forever After. But this year, we are doing Annie. And this is actually kind of one of the films that I kind of grew up with. My sister used to watch this a lot. Most of the films that are much older, I watch because of her. I will say this. There are some movies that she's watched that I personally do love. But then there's just some things that she watches that are kind of just on her own thing. But there are some movies that she's shown me that have been amazing. And I guess you could say this is one of the cult classics of musicals and all that. So let's just go ahead and get started talking about it. And let's just talk about the director and the storyteller. So I think when it comes to the story of this movie, it has a lot of different factors to it where you're focusing on this girl, this orphan Annie, who has no recollection of her parents. She's in this orphan with all girls. And you have this very bad nanny who is just cruel. And they're able to perfect it, but at the same time, mix it in with this musical story and adding all these musical elements to it and have them sing in song. And it makes you kind of care about the characters a little bit. Now, the characters part is going to be a separate category in this video, if you want to go see the chapter markers down below, but the way that the musical songs in here work is, it really connects in the way that the story is being told. I guess and also music will be another part of this movie too. Sorry about that. But yeah, like the way that it does the music and stuff, and the way it really does the story forward. And then when you bring in the Warbucks characters and all these rich people, and they want to pick Annie because they think she is a good character, it's just that kind of thing where you want to take someone that is seen being treated badly and is actually a good kid, and they want to go out and give her a good home. And that's the fun about it, which I will talk about that in the character side of things. But there's just something so good about this story that it has this, it's all about finding who your true family is, when technically it's all really about finding your true family. Who are those true family? And the true family are the ones that actually care about you and they'll want to protect you and that love you. And I think that's a beautiful story right there. From there, let's just move on to the other stuff with this film. So from there, let's talk about the music. And I think that this movie has some fantastic numbers. I mean, from the opening scene with "The sun will come out tomorrow," I mean, it's one of the most iconic songs to ever come out. I mean, it literally plays in the slow-mo shot when Cable shoots Deadpool in Deadpool 2. And they even made a remake of it, which I actually haven't seen yet. I'm interested to see what it is, but I haven't seen that new one from 2014. Or even the "It's a Hard Knock Life for Us," and that's the other thing, is like these songs aren't just random songs. They're part of this story. They connect to our characters in the way that it's being told. And all of the music numbers and the dancing sequences, all of that just works, and they do it perfectly. I thought that was one of the best things about this film. So yeah, the music, numbers, and songs, they all work. So when it comes to the characters, you know, you have the character of Annie, who, once I just said, she's this orphan who has no one to care for. She's in this orphanage with this cruel nanny. Some of her own fellow orphan mates, I don't even know if that's what you call it, her own little family members in the orphanage don't really tend to like her. And but at the same time, she's also this even though she's just a girl that's an orphan, she's also a tough one too. As she was protecting Sandy the dog, and she was fighting all those boys, I think. Those are boys, right? Yeah. So like it makes sense. Like, she's not just this you know, ooh, damsel in distress. No, she's tough. She's outwitted, and it's a good character thing, and it's good that she gets treated greatly when she gets brought into the Warbucks family. And then even more than that, we of course have to talk about the other, well, even the orphan girl characters. I thought were actually pretty fun, as they all, sure, they can be annoying sometimes. I promise myself I don't talk about bad stuff when it comes to these sort of reviews, but obviously the orphan girls in this movie are pretty annoying. Come on, let's be real. They are kind of annoying. Oh my goodness, oh my god, oh my goodness, or I think that's A Christmas Story I'm talking about, the moaning. But yeah, some of them do kind of work, and they are kind of helpful. And then even when it gets into the Warbucks family, like, all of the characters, they like Annie, and they also kind of feel like those are her grandparents, like they're her family and stuff. It's like, it's all fun. It felt like everybody was having fun making this movie, and it just really was well. But the big standouts here were, of course, Punjab, the sort of bodyguard of Mr. Warbucks, and then of course Mr. Warbucks himself. R.I.P. to the actor that played him. He was fantastic. And then of course the other girl that was wearing a yellow dress, I thought she was delightful. So yeah, all the characters in here really worked. I didn't talk about the villains, which we'll talk about just now. Another great thing about this movie is that they were able to really capture the story of these villains. Now, obviously, they don't go too much deep depth into them, but the only thing that really makes it great is that you hate them. And not only do you have one villain with Miss Hannigan as the orphan lady, leader of the boss of the orphanage, but you also have Annie's fake parents, which they're also cruel, and you know that you can tell that they're not the nicest people to be around, and they're pretty bad people. And they handle the performances really nicely, and especially with Miss Hannigan, as she's like this alcoholic. It's like she handled this performance like really well, and especially since this movie came out like in the 80s, it works perfectly for this. So for me, I love the performances of the villains, and I really just love that. One of my triumphant moments, it's sort of those moments where you have those moments where something happens and you have this sort of sense of triumph where these characters are good and it's really relatable. And like, when you get to this moment where Punjab is able to save Annie, you feel that goodness where it's like you like this character. And even the other triumphant moment is the scenes where we finally get the good relationship between Warbucks and Annie, that they're finally being accepted together as, you know, the dad and the daughter. It's all done perfectly. And so the triumphant moments in this movie really work. So for me, this is a cult classic for musical fans. I personally loved it. It was a great movie. And that's my review for Annie. I believe this one came out in 1981, right? Well, let me go ahead and do a quick check. Yeah, 1982. 1982. So yeah, that's my review for Annie, 1982. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All my social media stuff is in the about section over there. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.